opportunities and memories to be made with blood brothers for life, and those are things we don't want to see taken for our children. I promise you, it's not sitting here a coach saying I'm going to get paid more or less or anything like that. It's all about the experience from our kids, and time, something none of us can get back.
In football, there's no politics. Everybody's blood is black and gold.
Oh, no doubt, baby.
And that's what I love about it.
That is great. So tomorrow night we're traveling to Eastbrook. WS Neal's hosting us there.
Yes, sir.
There were a lot of questions, Coach, about seating, fan capacity and all that. And I saw today that it come out with 1,500 tickets to be sold to XL fans.
Yes, that's what I have been told. That's according to the association. Is now these new rules is even though there might be limits on crowd sizes, that the visiting crowd has to be provided the exact same opportunity to purchase tickets as the home crowd. Now, talking with Coach Andro over there at WS Neal, they're the beneficiary of having a very large stadium. They have a big stadium. I think their max capacity, he said, somewhere is around 4,000.
Wow.
So they can fit at half capacity still 2,000 plus people, and who knows what's going to happen? I'm not Nostradamus here, but I know the general feeling and consensus from them and us is I don't believe we're going to have anyone standing outside the gate wanting a ticket who couldn't get one. I believe they'll be able to fit everybody in there. We just ask that you follow whatever guidelines and procedures they have in place once they get over there. We are guests in their house, and we would want people to afford us the same respect.
Yeah, absolutely. And on those restrictions and stuff like that, I'm assuming that maybe just the norm, what we've been doing, fans wearing masks, that kind of thing, social distancing. Can you elaborate on that?
I can just basically tell you what I've been told. I'm not, that's kind of above my pay grade. I haven't sat in on no official meeting between the administrators, but a little bit of information I get to trickle down to me that says that they are asking fans to wear masks. I don't think they're going to come snatch out the stands if you need a reason to pull yours down, or if you have some type of other condition that you can't follow the rules, so to speak. I know they do ask that if you're not in the immediate family, then you stay 6 feet apart as long as you can. Try to practice social distancing, and it's basically the same rules, guys, that we've all been living with for so many months. And common sense will help and go a long way.
Okay. One other thing that I saw was I seen that Mobile Christian canceled their game against Monroe County High. They had some players supposedly test positive. That game, from what I saw, has been canceled thus far. So my question is, and some questions from the fans is, if there's a cancellation, do you just consider that a bye week, or do you try to play a week ahead? If say the other team is canceled, possibly you can schedule that game a week earlier?
Yes, that's a good question, and I guess it's time for everyone to go ahead. We've had our first cancellation. The next week, Wilcox Central's already called me. They called me a couple days ago, and their superintendent is going to shut down fall sports for them. I'm not going to go into detail, but just let you know, my heart is broken for the coach and those players. They did not want that to happen. They practiced all the way up until the moment, and it just breaks your heart to see that happen to kids. But Rocky, to answer your question, now everybody is locked in, so to speak. Now the association is not going to punish these teams financially. It's not going to make them do a forfeiture of their contract or anything like that. But if a team does back out on you, you will be credited with an official win, and that will stick to your record. So that's a good thing, because sometimes it's so late in the game when people start dropping out that you can't find replacements. Now, early on, yes, I was on a few phone calls when some of these people didn't know, were no, and all of ours stayed firm the whole time. But I know of a number of coaches who were kind of playing scramble big time trying to find games. Now, to that, to answer your question as well on that, if you do replace the game, then you don't get to count it as a win. In other words, if Team A cancels you week 3, and then you reschedule with Team B,
whatever the outcome
whatever the outcome happens, that's your thing. You will not get that win, or but if you don't reschedule, you will get it.
Okay, and you may have just answered my second question to you. My second question was going to be, one, are we going to have playoffs this year?
Yes.
And then 2, how will that affect if there's games canceled? And if you get a win by forfeiture, it's still a win. So playoffs will continue.
They will,
as we
and
know.
Rocky, as you said, that's kind of the main reason for them counting the wins, because that does factor into the playoffs. And I know of a coach who jokingly said he's already 2-0 in the region, because 2 of his region opponents have actually canceled fall sports. Wow. And I asked him if he was going to reschedule, and he's like, "No, coach. As much as I do want to play, I'm not going to turn down 2 region wins to try to get in the playoffs. So,
Wow.
can't blame him on that.
So you can actually use this in some instances maybe to your advantage.
Oh, without question. I mean, all right.
I mean, some teams that's not used to, possibly making it in the playoffs because of these extenuating circumstances, whatever that may be.
I do. I think it is now. The way the regions work, and look, once again, I'm not Nostradamus. I think you're still going to have the cream always rises to the top. I think you may have a surprising forfeiture, maybe one or here where a team gets a win they normally wouldn't. But when you go 10 weeks, I don't think you're going to have anybody in the playoffs that doesn't deserve to be there. And I think it will all play itself out. But I do agree, just kind of looking at how our schedule may match up, that gives us, we've had a couple weeks to prepare for WS Neal, and now we'll have 2 weeks to prepare for our region opponent. And we can turn that into a positive just as much as negative of losing the actual game is. Always got to stay positive, right?
Absolutely, and I'm with you on that. That's something that I think we're all struggling to do during this time because, I mean, it just seems like everywhere you go, the odds are stacked against you no matter what you want, even if it's going out for dinner. The odds are stacked against you. So, I'm glad to hear some positivity. And it's going to be really interesting, Ashley, to see how this season is going to shake out with all these typical 2020s.
Well, it'll be the first we've ever had to deal with this. It'll be the first time we've ever even had to think about this kind of stuff. So, yeah, it'll definitely be interesting, and it'll definitely be something that we'll always remember. And, hey, on a good note, Cody, my son, Tristan, is watching it.
Hey, Tristan, what's up, buddy?
He said to tell you hello. So, and he said that's pretty outstanding about the rules.
Can you still throw a football like you used to, Tristan? I would love to see you.
Did he have an arm back?
He had an absolute cannon.
Cannon. So let's talk about what have we been doing. We've been working out now for a couple of months, give or take, something like that. Been working out in the gym. All of that's changed for you. Now you've got 2 sessions of workouts and all, to meet state guidelines and what have you, our recommendations and. The practices, how has it affected your practices and stuff and preparing since you've been trying to be,
You definitely
compliant.
have to. You would like to think we plan a lot, or let me put it, we thought we planned a lot for practice and workouts until this happened,
Right.
and then we figured out, I guess we weren't planning as much because it's literally sometimes hours of extra planning to kind of make sure guys are in a certain area when they're supposed to be and still be productive because, as y'all know, time's always your enemy. You can't get no more of it, so even though you have to practice social distancing and keep people separated, you still only have a certain amount of time in the day to get better. And it's like an arms race in football. We're all trying to get better in a certain amount of time, and whoever uses that time wisely usually seems to come out on top. And the biggest help I got is guys like this. One of the biggest things I learned as a young head coach, you can't do it all by yourself. You can't. You've got to get some assistance. You've got to get some good help, and you got to have guys you can trust. And I know I got that now, and that's made my life a whole lot easier. And I couldn't imagine facing the things we've had to face in 2020 without the support of guys like this and the players that we have.
Now, let's get to some meat and potatoes.
all right, I'm done with the
ready.
fat part now.
I'm ready.
I trimmed all the fat. Get after it.
I'm going to start with Coach Armstrong, then I'm going to pose the same question to you, Dawson. Coach, tell me kind of from last year to this year, kind of how you've grown as a coach, kind of what you see progress-wise, from Excel last year to this year, some things that you're excited about.
Well, the biggest thing is we got a lot of experience coming back, and that's something that's going to be a big bonus for us. I said it has helped me as a coach because you're coaching kids that already know the system. They already know what we do in the weight room. They already know how our practice is run, and they know the offense and defense when we get out there. So that's helped the practices run a lot smoother, and it's just a big benefit to have those older guys. And with the injuries last year, we had some younger guys that grew up during the season. So we got some experience coming back, and just looking forward to seeing what they could do.
Awesome. Dawson?
My turn. I'll just piggyback off what he said. I mean, defensively, man, we got a lot of youth out there. You're going to see some more size on the defensive line for sure. And just the past few weeks of practice, some things I've seen is our physicality. We're a lot more physical than we have been. One thing for me that I feel like I've improved on as far as coaching wise, is just being more vocal. You know, that's always been kind of a weak thing of mine. Kind of stand back, watch, listen, and kind of piggyback off folks. But
the defensive coordinator's got to do a lot of yelling.
Oh yeah.
This ain't the defensive coordinator. Got to yell, man.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's one thing I've kind of grown a little bit more this year.
Good deal. And Coach Sellers, take us from last year to this summer to us getting started. What are you excited about? How have you progressed? How's the team progressed? And, tell me some impact players you think we're going to be seeing a lot of this year.
I will definitely talk about progression. I mean, I felt like we have progressed as a program steadily, and that goes all the way back to some of my seniors that I ran into the other day and had a good conversation with. But kind of our story and journey is not just always a straight line. I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir. I mean, you've talked about this before, that, when you play football for Excel, you got to realize sometimes there's going to be some roadblocks that get thrown in your way. And sure, it's knocked us back a step or two, but I've never seen the team stop moving, stop fighting. I've never seen these guys stop working. And that motivates you. Not that I've ever even doubted for a second that I was going to lay down. As I joke, sometimes I'm stubborn and I'm going to keep fighting, even sometimes when the battle is already lost. But how can you be around the people that I'm around in my life and even think for a moment that, wow, we just need to lay down to this challenge? No. We inspire each other, as we say all the time with the kids. Whatever we face, the good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, we all face it together. The biggest thing I would say right now that we have is a togetherness, and that's not a knock on the teams that come before, because they also have their own strengths, and we've talked about them on this show last year. But one thing I see about this team now is the togetherness, not just talking about the brotherhood of being together, but that common goal. And that's what gets you excited as a coach, when you kind of hear some of the conversations these guys are having, and it's not about who uploaded the best Snapchat video or whose dadgum got the best music on the radio. They're talking about how we're getting in the playoffs. How are we going to beat W.S. Neal? I can't wait to try to get some of T.R. Miller this year. Those are the conversations we like to hear. That's what we like to have. Now, I'm also not ignorant enough to tell you that those are words, and words don't win a single ball game or get you nowhere in life. But if you're not having the right conversations, you're not going to have the right kind of actions either. So I don't say that gets us to where we want to go, but I like to say that's a good temperature gauge of where we're at right now. Star players this year, that's a really difficult question, Ashley, right now. I mean, we obviously could name a couple guys, and I'm sure I will here in a second. But when I say depth and complete, and Coach Armstrong just talked about experience, I mean, we have it. We have a number of guys out there who have playing time, who have gotten after it. I mean, you start up front. I guess that's my bias. I'm always going to start up front lineman, baby. It's won and lost in the trenches. Offensive line, we return all starters. Everybody that's coming to play the offensive line for us has started a game last year.
That's awesome.
Now, we also have a young phenom right here. We got a 10th grader by the name of Cade Barnett, who's an absolute monster.
Yeah.
Who has definitely worked his way into the starting lineup as well.
I'm actually having to look up to him now.
Yes, he got big. Now, he's always been a bigger kid, but he got big and put on some good weight. And you talking about a smart football player and a guy that wants it. You talking about a conversationalist that wants football. You got a guy like Blake Simmons. Blake Simmons been playing this game for a long time, and you couldn't ask for a more physical football player.
Are we going to be expecting to see Blake kicking again this year?
Yes,
as well?
Blake's definitely going to do some kicking for us. He definitely has a kicker's leg. He just needs better coaching. Because us guys up here, we're okay, but none of us are kicking experts, I'll be completely honest. But we did add a coach on staff this year. He's not with us. His name is Coach Jacob Nowlin, and he has had some experience with working with kickers in the past, and we hope maybe he can kind of help get us a little bit over, so to speak, with our field goals this year and extra points. Kind of hoping to make that happen. On the front, see, I'm going to go naming everybody. I'm going to leave somebody off, but we'll start up front. I just said Blake. We talked about Barnett. You got Elijah Peoples.
Oh, yeah.
Elijah Peoples. I know y'all used to call him Jumper from back in the day, and he will come off that football, and this guy is tough. This guy's tough. He's in the trenches the whole time. He doesn't know the word stop, but the only thing we talk about Elijah all the time is that light switch. When Elijah decides to turn the light switch on, it's a beautiful thing. And we just want him to kind of stay with that light switch on, and I think this is the year you're going to see him do that. Campbell Wiggins, lunch pail guy. I mean, this dude brings a hard hat and a time card every single day, like he's punching or running conduit or making electrical trays and construction jobs, okay? He's putting in the work all the time. And you want to talk about the growth of a player, I'm not going to embarrass him right here, but me and Campbell both know what he looked like when he rolled out there in the 9th grade, and what he looks like now is not even the same person. Not just physically, the mental transformation.
Well, he's growing up too.
Oh man,
he's growing up.
That's what you said. Not just
he's always been big, but he was kind of clumsy kid, but he's really seen the.
He is a guy that you can point to and show your other kids. Hard work gets you this. Right?
Yeah, and that's one of the things. That was the first thing that came to my mind when we were talking about Cade Barnett. I mean, he is really mentally matured into this game from what I'm seeing at practice and stuff. I mean, it's huge.
Oh,
it's huge. It's the difference of day and night.
Well,
and that's amazing when you see him kind of cross that bridge.
That's
You know,
what
the
I
light
love
switch
about
comes
it,
on.
yeah.
But now, which I know his mom, Jen, she's keeping a high heel
Well,
in the hind end.
Oh,
look,
yes.
I've
Old
coached-
saying every successful man's got a successful woman.
There
behind
you
him.
go.
That's Miss
There you
Jen.
go. So I got to give a
Coach
shout out to
Cade
Jen on that
since
one.
he was 6 years old, and I can tell you, he's always been a player. He's always had tons of ability.
Absolutely.
He just didn't know how good he was.
No, and never knew how
have
big and strong.
Been waiting on him to get to
Yes.
that point, for a long time. So
I want to brag on too a guy named Trip Mills. Y'all
Absolutely.
were there and y'all saw the injury that Trip suffered. Guys, I wish y'all had seen how quick he came back, how quick he was medically cleared. You're
Right.
talking about doctors telling this kid that NFL athletes don't come back this quick. Now that's a testament.
And that was in
Heart.
Flomaton, right?
U-Rise when Trip went down.
U-Rise was
with
Trip.
the torn-
Okay, I'm sorry.
Torn ACL pretty bad.
Right.
Unbelievable what he did to come back. And y'all know how it is. Y'all have had injuries before. That's rehab. You by yourself. You don't have teammates cheering you on. When I just talked about guys picking you up and stopping you from quitting, Trip went in the hole and had to do it by himself and pulled himself out and climbed out. And that's the kind of guy you can put a linchpin and go, when times get hard, when the sun goes out and the rain comes out, Trip ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere but to where you want him to. And I just thank the Lord every day that he's the kind of guy that battles back from that injury, because it's not just a physical aspect. You're talking to a guy that had his knee wrapped around the other side and snapped back in place, and the next year I'm out there playing guys, but I ain't me, because in my head I still hear the noise. I hear it popping and all that, and it took me a few games to get over that.
Right.
Trip got thrown in the fire right now and has climbed out mentally and physically and battle tested, baby, through and through. And then that leads me to the guy beside him, the Cole Waters.
Hey,
The Cole Waters. I like that.
you can't get a better kid than Cole.
That's what, anybody in this area that you want to say it, you can talk it, brag and put it over. Any challenge, any coach running around, you put yours hand in the dirt, I'll put that cat with his hand in the dirt, and you can go get some any day of the week.
He's always been
take it.
tough, man.
He is a monster.
He is, and that's like we were talking about earlier. It's just you see so much maturity from this year, just in practice. Seeing the intensity on these. And I'm gonna be honest. The first thing that I noticed was the size.
Yeah,
That's the first.
better.
That's the first thing, because that was the elephant in the room. Was
getting
That's
our
right, we ain't
size.
gonna look like we're there, but we get
Right,
there.
our size has tremendously improved over last year. So I
Yes.
mean, like I said, elephant in the room, you can't help but to notice it. But I mean, it's drastically improved.
No, I agree, Rocky. You can just tell, and that's us. I mean, I think our smallest lineman is at 215, and look, that's better because we know y'all have seen. We've had
Right.
guys up there at 180
Right.
before.
If they're lucky.
Exactly.
If they're
now,
lucky,
yeah, when
yeah.
we play Neil tomorrow, and you see a couple 300-pounders, but listen, we're in shape. We grind. 240 in shape and strong is still a handful, and
A
we're going to
300 pounder is liable to get a lot more tired than a 200.
There you go. I'll give that. The endurance there.
No comment on the strategy. Yeah, I'm with you exactly. We thinking about that though. And then I got to brag on some guys outside real quick. I know I'm sorry, I got to hurry.
No, you're good.
Jaden Jenkins and Zeb Nettles.
There you
Jaden
go.
is back.
Man, back. And
He
He was- he
jump.
really-
I wish y'all could come
Yeah.
see practice. I know you may have had a few
Yeah.
times to see him out there.
And Jaden, last year, man, had all the makings to be a superstar
Yes.
until he got hurt. So this is his year. This really to me is kind of his team if he'll take it by the
I
horn.
do believe he has the athletic ability to, when he wants to. There's nobody in the state that can fool with Jaden. We just got to keep him healthy and consistent.
Yeah.
He does stuff that make you say, just wow.
I'm wow every
This-
time I
this
see
is
him jump for
unreal.
the
Oh,
ball.
man,
I'm wow.
it's unbelievable.
I mean, it's like he's up 6 foot up in the air.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy.
Tremendous
Flat-footed,
athlete,
just straight
and
up.
hands like glue, can do
Yes.
it all. He's another one that battled back from injury. And then Zeb, which look, I know a lot of y'all been watching Zeb play for a long time.
That's right.
I'm telling y'all, he is faster. He is faster this year than he has been, and that's scary. That's
Ashley
scary.
and I were actually talking at practice. We were there watching practice together yesterday. We were talking about Z, and we know this from having him in Little League coming up. He's got a whole nother hidden gear.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
Oh, yeah.
You just got to motivate him to get it out.
That's it. That's it. You got to motivate him to get it out. But, when he does reach over there and put it into overdrive, you can light the sidelines on fire with it.
And one of the biggest, you talk about growth, and I'm going to brag on Zeb, and I know I got to say a little bit at the banquet last year. There was one of our toughest moments when all those injuries did occur that Zeb come to me and was, I got you, coach. There's a lot of guys when things went wrong, you can kind of go, well, maybe I'm going to try to find the exit too, or I'm going to not try to get hurt this year because it's not looking good. He had us. He picked us up. His teammates recognized that. And you talking about somebody that kind of does have a lot of sway in our locker room mentality and how we feel, and you want to say a team leader. I don't see how you can argue Zeb Nettles. The
coach,
team voted him captain.
You can't argue either. You got to have leadership out there.
Without question.
Coaches can only do so much.
Sure.
Playing calls can, and the right play calls can only do so much. They've got to have the heart, and they've got to have leadership on that field to say, hey, we're going to make this work.
Amen.
And we need more of those kind of players out there that can make a difference because it's contagious. Same as being lazy and giving up on the play is contagious.
Yes. Well, I'm going to brag on him too, a word I know you use a lot, and this is where I've seen him grow. Accountable. I know you like to remind me of that about people holding each other accountable.
There you go.
Actually, he's the one in the huddle, and you can ask them guys that will motivate his teammates when they're not doing quite so well, or they decide to make an assignment.
Miss that block?
Exactly. He's going to let you know, or if somebody lines up wrong, because he, as Coach Armstrong said earlier, has been in this system for so long. He knows it, offense and defense. And he can get you lined up and squared away. And then tight end this year, we got our buddy Jackson Smith.
Okay.
Yep.
And
there is another one we talk about growth from last year. He got thrown in the trenches early last year.
He played exceptionally well.
Did really good because he got thrown to the wolves, no doubt about it, and he stepped in there and he battled them. So Jackson Smith was a great surprise, and seeing how much he was able to just step in, fill shoes, and be willing to do it. Right?
Yes, exactly. The willing to do it, it's all over. You see that transition in their eyes, like you're talking about Rocky, where they get thrown into it last year.
Yes.
It wasn't fear. It was just sometimes a lack of confidence. Like, well, Coach, I ain't really ready.
Deer in the headlights.
And son, I understand you.
But I'll hit the truck.
Right. And now it's more, let me grab it. I want it. Come get it. I'll chase the truck down.
I like it.
And Jackson Smith is the kind of guy I talked to some locals about a long time, and I even remember coming to play XL. XL's won a lot of football games with guys like Jackson Smith. Okay, Jackson Smith's not 6'5", he's not 265. Love you to death, Smith, but you ain't running no 4.8.
No, he's not.
Okay?
That was my next.
But
put some cornbread in front of him.
I was about to say
he'll run a 4.8. Put some cornbread in front of him.
He will get after it, and
he ain't scared of getting hit.
No, I was about to say he's another guy. When you say let's go to war, you don't have to look over your shoulder. You know it's coming.
He's there,
and he's always been that way as a youngin'. He ain't scared of taking a hit. He ain't scared of giving a hit.
No, I agree 100%.
And you got to have that on that field for sure.
Absolutely.
And then getting in the backfield, we got two running backs giving time a lot. We got a senior, DeAndre Martin. DeAndre was the guy last year. We knew we had something special when, John Jay had to transfer in, but we do things right here around XL, and if it's not a legit move or legit transfer, you're going to have to sit out. But he practiced, man. He was scout team running back. How fun is that?
No, it ain't.
It's not very much, and this man did that for 10 weeks with no hope of ever playing in a game, getting to wear a jersey with some shoulder pads on Friday, or getting his name called on the radio. And he did it for 10 weeks, and that's when we looked at each other and go, we might have something here.
And now
this cat wants to be, and you talk about wanting to be an XL Panther. The day he's gotten gear, this dude has wore it across his chest. He is proud to be a Panther. He wants to be an XL Panther. He's not some transplant that came in from another school just to finish his career. He came to XL to be a Panther.
Well, you know what, Coach? Part of the reason for that is he earned it.
No doubt. That's well said.
He was out there last year taking the hits. He earned the right to do that.
That's a great point. He runs way more physical than we even realize, though. He really has. Let me just let him show you on Friday morning. I can tell you right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll say that. And I got to brag on this 9th grade back who's come out of nowhere for us. Zaylen McMillan. I mean, have y'all seen this?
Yeah.
This dude is the truth.
Well,
okay?
This is the one we were talking about.
Yeah, he's got a whole lot of gear. If you can get him to shift into
If you can get him to grab that gear, he will light the sidelines on fire.
The speed, that definitely stands out. I didn't know he was going to run this physical. I mean, we joked with Zaylen. We didn't know it was because he was scared to get hit that he was running so fast. But I promise you, he started thumping folks. And just seeing that going on with his already size and speed that he is, and just as a freshman, just go ahead and get ready to call that name out for some years. I got a feeling there'll be some eyeballs coming to watch Zaylen McMillan.
Well, he's pedigree for it. His dad was an athlete in basketball. I mean, he's just got the pedigree for it. I mean, the guy, he is, you know, the whole.
Hey, sometimes the three best letters is DNA.
Yes, I mean, he just he really is. He just comes from an athletic family. But you know, it's amazing to see how they've stepped up this year. But let's talk about what they're going to step up against this upcoming.
What about your quarterback?
Yeah, that's what I got to say.
I'm sorry.
I got to save the last two guys for y'all real quick.
Go for it.
All right, let's talk about Josh Gandy and Jacob Manuel. All right, we're going to get to them. Now, first, Josh Gandy. We know what Josh is capable of. You talking about getting thrown in the fire?
Cool and calm as ever.
And boy, is he grown. He's
that's what I want to get
man.
Wait till you see Josh Gandy, okay? He went from being a kind of a taller, lankier freshman, and even last year he put on a little bit but was just growing. Another guy coming back from a bad injury but has fought it, and you talking about attacked it in the weight room. Our quarterback is now 6'1", maybe 6'2" in cleats, 200+ pounds.
Yeah, I was going to give him 6'3", 200.
He's up there.
I really was.
And he ain't slow, ladies and gentlemen. He ain't slow, and the arm has gotten stronger. And Josh Gandy got a lot of time robbed from him last year with an injury, but the Lord don't make mistakes. And you want to talk to a mature kid, go talk to Josh about that injury. As me and his daddy joke, I think it hurt me and Michael more than it did Josh for a little bit, or at least that cool, calm demeanor.
Right.
All he talked about was time to get better, time to get back on the thing. I mean, I hope my son thinks like that when some adversity hits him. I can just tell you.
You know, it was amazing to watch him as a freshman standing tall in the pocket like that and wasn't rattled a bit. I mean, he was literally in the Shark Tank and it just as cool as a cucumber.
And I
think never was rattled.
Yes,
amazing
you add that
to watch
with the fact he's been in this system now for 3 years.
Yes.
And we think it's Josh's time.
Jacob absolute monster. Okay.
Get you some. All I can tell you. You know, I know we hear about it, and I respect a lot of football players, but we see some of this stuff going around about this back 6 foot 230, another back 5'11", 190, and you see all this stuff on Facebook. Well, ladies and gentlemen, XL Alabama, we got one 6'2", 255 that will give you all you want, and you're gonna find out real quick what Jacob Manuel's all about. And if you don't get excited watching him play football, go turn on soccer. Because this ain't for you.
Did his brother have anything to do with that?
Yeah, I think his brother helped him gain a little weight, and they still compete with each other pretty good about who's going to be the best Manuel.
That's right.
We like to remind Jacob that Justin left a heck of a legacy, and
that's a big shoe to fill.
You got to fill the shoes, but he said, "I don't want to fill them, Coach. I want to make you forget about them." So I said, "Okay."
and just giving Justin his claim to fame, he was at the house not long ago, telling me he's going down to Gulf Shores to play some ball.
Yes, he's got an opportunity down there to play some football, and he told me the other day they're even looking at him at quarterback down there.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's just, going down there and continue to chase the dream. And as I told Justin, and I encourage every player, and that's not just football, guys. That's a lot. Your dream ain't dead till you give up on it.
That's right.
That's all of us. I don't care if you're 40 years old and you got something you want to do. It ain't over until you decide it is.
I agree with that, and I think that you, especially as a head coach, has got a tremendous amount to do with that on getting these kids some scholarships, and getting them, even if it's a walk-on, letting this dream continue on, what have you, and getting them out there in front of the people they need to see.
The more coaches that get interested in XL, the more players you're going to have.
Absolutely.
Without question.
And that's what it's important, to get these players that can up to the next level. So that says a lot. Anybody on defense you want to run through quickly?
Yes, I know we got a bunch. All right, defense, and I can't start, and I know you, Ashton McFall. Okay, if you want to circle up one guy coming back on defense, kid gets thrown in the fire. More ways than one. Sometimes it's harder on you if your coach is comfortable with your family. Because ask Ashton, I think I had an episode with him the other day. I treat him like my son. You may think it's good. Ashton may think it ain't so good. I can be really, really hard on him, but it's because I know what he can be.
That's right.
And I'll tell you, and I've kept it between me and him this whole time, I think that Ashton McFall's got the ability to be one of the greatest defensive, if not the greatest defensive player to come through XL. And don't worry, I know who all that includes.
That says a lot.
I'm just saying. You want mentality, you want getting after it, that cat's all about it. All about it. The same names are going to kind of reappear on defense because, the Zebs and the Jadens, but another guy who is right there with Ashton is Coleman Wiggins.
Yes.
Okay?
I saw him make some tackles in practice the other day.
That's our Red Rocket, baby. He's coming down here to go.
He's growing up a little bit, ain't he?
He's one of them, if you told him to headbutt that wall till the wall gave out, he said, got you, coach.
But
and that wall's going to be laid down.
That's contagious.
Yes.
You start laying some wood out there on defense, and they start hearing some helmets pop.
Oh, without question.
Everybody gets fired up on defense and wants some of it.
Yes.
No doubt.
The other, I guess, guys that I hadn't mentioned on the offensive side of the ball, you got Tremel Edwards going to be out there at cornerback this year. Another guy who you can tell took a huge step in the offseason. Tremel, we joked with him a little bit about skipping leg day. You see his legs, he's got skinny legs, but that joker's got about as big arms and chest as you want. And he has picked up a tremendous amount of speed, I would say, over the offseason. And we look forward to seeing what Tremel can do on the field. The other one, we got Matthew Watson, who stepped up big time for us. Me and Matthew were talking the other day. If Matthew plays like he's been practicing, we're going to be just fine. And he doesn't need to let the lights get to him.
No.
He's had his time. He's ready. He's earned it. That word you used a while ago, and that's what I keep reminding him. He has went out there and earned it. And we talk about cutting your teeth. Matthew earned it by Jacob Manuel. What you think he was doing the first whole week of practice after getting that linebacker spot was meeting Jacob.
And that's what I told Ashton. I said, son, if you can tackle Jacob Manuel in practice, who are you going to go up against any bigger than that in this
There you
level?
go.
You're not.
And he did it. And Matthew definitely went out there and grabbed the bull by the horns, literally. And sometimes it didn't go well for him. But what we saw was he was willing to go in there and hit him every single time. And then things started to break his way. It's just breaking through that ice. And that's one of the kids that we love to see the growth continue. Next guy, probably one of the biggest gains in the offseason has been Brent Tinneman.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even recognize
that's
him.
me, actually. I mean, you
I didn't know
looked
who he
at Brent,
was.
you couldn't even recognize him. He is a full-grown man physically, and that's exactly where he took steps at. But the mental aspect, I always loved being around Brent. He's one of my favorite players to be around. But his commitment to actually being good at football and us being a good football team has been just the biggest turnaround I've seen. Wow. Not that he wasn't bought in before, but I'm just trying to tell you it's a different level now. He's committed. And maybe that's age. Maybe that's him realizing I'm a junior and it's time to go. But I'm very pleased with it. I can promise you that. And last but not least, we got a buddy named Gage Lowry. What you call him, 12 gauge coach? Buckshot right here. Gage Lowry is has moments, guys, where he looks like the best guy on the football field. And I'm going to say this to motivate Gage, because I've said it to him the other day. When that finally becomes what he does every play,
oh my God,
get your popcorn out.
Yes.
That's all we're trying to do is make him do that every single play, because he will show you a flash and you go, what was
he
that?
has no idea how big and strong he is. He does not know.
That way. He's always been that way. And look, I love his family. Me and his daddy are good friends. I mean, he's got potential to be a bull.
Oh, a monster. A difference maker.
I mean, a bull.
A difference
maker.
You
know, if he ever gets mean and just mad, there ain't going to be no stopping.
Another thing with that same pedigree, I mean, Brandon was a great athlete.
Oh, yeah, he was.
And, I mean, he was an absolute phenom in the weight room and always has been. I mean, even after school, he was just a phenom there.
Brandon is still strong.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he's, just ripped.
And guys, hey, I know there's a number of you. I'm sorry I forgot you. You know I love you, but we only got so much time.
There you go.
Well, that's right. You know what? And there's really no impact players until at the end of Friday night.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And then we know who the impact players are. And, do your talking on the field. That's exactly right. Let's go out there and make a statement with W.S. Neal.
So not to swell any heads by no stretch of the imagination, and think that you don't have to play on Friday night, but you're a 7-point favorite going into Friday night, Coach.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You are a 7-point favorite going into Friday night. Now, we know what's in W.S. Neal's backfield. All right?
Oh, yeah, they definitely got some size. I didn't know that. I really had no idea about the spread, but that's funny. I told the boys the other day that I do believe we're not going to sneak up on anybody anymore.
No.
I think people got film. I've had a few conversations with some coaches around there.
Coach, you got to think last year, and I don't like to talk about last year a whole lot, like you don't, but
the T.R. Miller game,
we had T.R. Miller beat Bayside. I'm sorry. We got cheated, and then we dropped that pass, and still should have beat them, okay? We got cheated on that game, and I hate even saying that. I hate saying that. But we beat those boys up and down the field. We beat T.R. Miller. It was a close game at Flomaton in the second half with all the injuries. Now, they beat our brains out in the second half. But we were down mentally and physically.
Oh, sure, I know. You look back, I agree. But the what ifs, you're right. All right,
There's big glimpses of greatness.
I agree. Where you have to kind of the peaks and the valleys. Where we thought last year. Remember the excitement? We kind of thought we were onto something last year, and we come out and handle business against Shields, and the next thing we know, we're right there with T.R. Miller, and if we don't kind of have some turnovers and we kind of make that final play right there,
we had 4 turnovers in that game.
Yes, sir.
I think
sir, we did, and that kind of hurt us, and we were still right there with them. We're still right there with them, and they're probably one of the only things I regret about last year. And then again, I guess I don't, because my personality is I didn't take the time to show or feel what a step that was for our program. All I saw was we lost. And that's all that it got over me, and I just couldn't let it go, and it just bothered me. So instead of thinking that's a great step for the program, challenging somebody who's going to go to the 3rd round has been a perennial power. All I could think about was it was that close to win, and I just can't.
But you know what? As a coach, that's probably how you should be.
I can't change.
Show me a coach that's a good loser, and I'll show you a guy that's not a coach.
Have you ever seen Nick Saban say, "Well, that was just a good step
that's
for
all
our
right,
team"?
guys.
No, sorry.
Exactly. Show me a coach that's
He's
not a coach.
Absolutely.
But like I said, bouncing back with the other teams, even after those injuries, we entered a few games that I thought we could have pulled out, but things didn't work out. But we have seen the progression, and we feel like the stage has been set. We're no longer just digging in the trenches. I mean, we go to war every day, but I believe we're at the table now, and it's time to eat.
Well, I think you got some good leadership out there this year.
It is.
I really do. I see a lot of kids out there, like you said, that want to play, that want to win.
They want to be Panthers.
Dedicated. That's right. They feel like they've earned the right to be out there, so that makes a big difference.
Yes.
Without question.
And that's a huge step forward now, and I can say that because I've been around this program a long time. That's a huge step forward than what I've seen in the years past.
We're ready to take that next step. We're being good, being mediocre. That's not good enough. Now, I agree. Nobody wants to be 1-9 and 0-10, and we're not going to let that happen. But like I said, we want to not just be at the table; we want to eat.
Well, and I think it's more than just a team transformation. I think it's a community, it's a town transformation. There was more people at the stadium last year than I've seen in the years prior. Okay. Not so much as the glory days used to be when you guys brought in, extra bench or extra bleachers. Thank you, and all. But I mean, huge. I mean, it was packed out last year.
Oh man.
There wasn't hardly a place to sit, and then a lot of folks were standing at that. Today, for instance, shout out to Cherie Hanks getting the parade going for the guys, so they could see the support.
Total surprise.
And all,
that was awesome.
Flash parade, she called it. So we got out there, got a group of folks together. Cheerleaders got, things together. And Cherie Hanks is really 100% responsible for making all that happen. They're out there at practice, and I know he's probably thinking, what the heck is going on? We're all riding around with sirens, and there's fire trucks, and and he's like, I'm just trying to practice, guys. But I hope the players and you guys as coaches feel the community support behind you.
We got a special place right here. I mean, Excel's community, I know I say it like a broken record, but once again, guys, the proof's in the pudding. It ain't just words. Excel's a special place. Okay, you got folks that work counties over and live here. You got folks that go to schools at other schools but live here. There's something about being at Excel, and there's nothing wrong with saying that or being proud of that.
No, I mean, you take ownership of it and be like, this is my town.
Exactly.
Have pride
we're in this thing together, and it's a special place. I know we want to get the football program to the wins that we think reflects how great of a place this is, but if we had this support only because we were winning 10 games, I guess it honestly wouldn't mean as much. So
That's right.
Seeing the support that we've had as we've built the whole way from people, y'all know who I'm talking about, including yourselves, that have been with us since day one, that's special. That's what's special, is folks willing to come help you put the building blocks in at the foundation instead of just wanting you to finish hammer the roof and wave the flag.
There you go.
We got folks putting in work down there with us, and it's appreciated, and it won't ever be forgotten.
I've often said, if you're willing to struggle with me, you deserve to win with me.
Amen. I like that.
I
like that.
Ashley, some of your final thoughts. We're just about running out of time here at 6:45. We're going to wrap up, a couple of minutes left. Or you want to turn it over to coaches there to give some thoughts?
Yeah, just like, Dawson and Coach Armstrong ain't really been able to
Yeah, let them get
say,
I've been running my mouth the whole
just
time.
turn it over to y'all a little bit and give y'all final thoughts on how you think the season is going to be, and and what you're looking forward to. And
I'm excited. I think we got a good thing going here. I know we have a lot of youth, man. We got a lot of experience. That's exciting to see. I've been really happy with the way it's went since we started off in June. We've had a lot of participation, a lot of commitment, and it's going to be exciting to see tomorrow night all that hard work, be poured out on that field. And I know I am. I'm geared up for
and
it.
Dawson,
I'm excited
I bet
about it.
since last year you've been watching a lot of film, haven't you?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Even during the off season.
I bet you're tired of watching.
Oh yeah,
film.
I just got married over the break, and
Oh my gosh! Congratulations.
My wife, she'll get upset with me sometimes because she'll be trying to tell me something, and I'm sitting there in the recliner watching film, and she gets upset with me sometimes. But hey,
That's where it starts. Hey, and I promise you that won't be the first time you watch gets upset at you.
no.
I can assure you of that. But we won't go down that conversation.
No.
We can hold up the
I don't know if my wife's listening or not, but anyway.
Coach Armstrong.
It's just like he was saying. There's an excitement around football right now. I said we got a lot of people coming back that we had to put it in major games last year that they may not have been ready for it then, but that experience is going to carry over to this year. So just excited to see what they're going to do tomorrow. I said we've been at practice, we've got after it at practice, but it's nothing like getting to hit a different color jersey. So
Amen.
just ready to see it, ready to hear it, and get out there tomorrow, and hopefully they're going to show what they're capable of. I said there's times at practice we've seen it, and just hope that they're going to show it tomorrow night when it's another opponent out there.
Tomorrow night's when it counts.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
And so if they're listening, as I've already said, let me reiterate, there are no all-stars, no impact players till tomorrow night on that field. Walk out there with a chip on your shoulder, be ready to make a statement, and prove that Excel is back.
Be an impact team.
That's exactly
Be an
right.
impact team.
Lift each other up, pat each other on the back, and get after it, son.
I'm super excited.
Tired of beating up on each other during practice, like you said. It's time to go. Put some blue paint on your helmet from hitting them.
that's right.
So some of the questions coming in, to answer one of those, will the game be videoed by us?
Yes, we video every game. We will do.
On Twitch, though.
No, I'm sorry. That's come to us. Yes.
Yes, on Twitch, we will not be videoing. It's only here inside the studio, but you will be able to click on roostercountrysports.com, and you'll be able to stream that game if you happen to live in a location where you can't hear us, i.e. Japan. So you're welcome to stream us on that. And otherwise, you can tune in right here at 92.5. Kickoff is still 7 o'clock. Nothing's changed about that.
No.
So we'll be here.
Halftime will be extended. Everybody get ready for that. Halftime will be a little longer. But
Really?
Okay. Do we know how much longer?
Usually, they do a 20-minute clock, and it's a running clock. Now they have to stop the clock for the band to get off the field, to own the field. So even though it's still the same amount, it's going to be a little longer. So everybody's got a little longer to enjoy the concessions, I guess, at halftime, but I don't want anybody thinking nobody's coming out of the locker room. It'll just take a little longer. Things will look a little different.
That's
but
it.
Football will still be football.
Concessions, I do understand this year, just about everywhere will be very limited, so I suggest you eat early.
Yes.
When you walk in the gate, grab your burger right then. And tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Ashley McFarland and I'll be bringing you the game live right here on 92.5, but that could not be possible if it were not for Cassillo Towing and Automotive with Joey Cassillo, who's also running for county commissioner, and Crazy J's Restaurant right here in Frisco City, Nichols Bait and Tackle right out on Highway 84, Monroe Chapel and Funeral Home, as well as Harrigan Lumber company right here in downtown Monroeville out on Hornady Drive. So want to thank those guys. They are the ones that make this possible, these good sponsors here. And if you would like to be a sponsor, if you enjoy the Coaches Show, enjoy the games on Friday night, and enjoy hearing those on the radio, give Miss Denise Cross a call at area code 251-362-2608. Again, that number is 251-362-2608. Well, coaches, we just about hit it dead on the dot here. It's almost 6:50. Ashley, it's tomorrow night. Game on.
XL Football 2020.
Yep, we're
get it started. Let's write that story.
Going to be live coming to you from East Bruton, Alabama at W.S. Neal Stadium. So looking forward to that. Coaches, thank you so much for being here this evening. Thank you guys all for tuning in on Twitch TV as well as online on Rooster Country Sports. And we look forward to seeing you guys or talking to you guys tomorrow night. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Bye, son. Love you.